Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you part 2 of a replay between Argos, Zenith, and FightingBongSook, or I'll just call him Sook, here on Steps of War. A large army of Mutalisks now in the air, causing a lot of pressure for this ground army of Argos, Zenith. Argos, Zenith, however, quickly losing 2 of his infestors, and that was a really big problem. However, one of the Mutalisks had been shot down, and now going after another Overlord. Overlord able to barely escape that engagement there. As we should probably see, Burrow finally being researched, so those infestors will be able to hide underground. However, we are getting the movement speed upgrade for roaches, so the roaches are going to be there to try to counter the Hydralisk. Hydralisk now moving over here, able to get off another round of attack onto those Mutalisks. Mutalisks deciding to fall back once again, as we now finally get a hatchery over here. This hatchery will be able to grow up and then mine an additional 8 minerals. Back over here, Argos Zenith now down to, I believe, 7 mineral patches, so these mineral patches are nearly depleted, and as soon as he transfers these drones over, he desperately needs this hatchery to go up. The Mutalist should try to put some pressure on this hatchery over here. If he can deny this hatchery, then Sook will be able to take this game, as this is the only base left that Zenith will be able to mine from in about 2 minutes. Over here, in comes some Mutalisks. May decide to just try to suicide into the space. Are we gonna get a fungal growth? Are we gonna burrow? Yeah, a quick burrow. There we go. And now those units able to regenerate much more, or not able to regenerate much more quickly, but able to not take damage. So nicely done. So one quick burrow, and now these infestors will be able to move out and try to perhaps move into the base over here. I do not see any overseers for any sides of the army, so burrowed play will be very important. Back over here, in come these Mutalisks. Now going to try to put some pressure on some of those Hydralisks and those drones. However, one Mutalisk getting shot down once again. So back over here, this large anti-air army on this low ground. And now there is another Spore Crawler coming into position. Are we going to get a fungal growth? And oh, there's that fungal growth. So one fungal growth. Hydralisks are going to be able to just destroy this army as they are unable to move. Another fungal growth. And wow, this army of Sook just shot down out of the sky. Very well played by Argos Zenith, getting Hydralisks, getting Queens, and getting those infestors to distract the mobility. In come some Queens now. Roaches will be able to handle the rest of this Zergling army here, and down they go. Drones now being transferred. There, we do have some mineral saturation over here, so Sook does have a little bit of an economic advantage. Yeah, 28 harvesters compared to 20. However, Zerglings now still trying to move out across the field. There are a lot of roaches here, and those roaches have that movement speed. So that movement speed will make those roaches move very quickly. I believe 3.9 on creep. So those roaches dealing a lot of damage very quickly. A hatchery, a drone now moving out. Perhaps try to set up a hatchery over here, or perhaps even on this high ground. Yeah, gonna set up on this high ground and destroy these destructible rocks at some point in the game. We do see some overlords and some spine crawlers here, as now we finally have Argos Zenith transferring his drones from his main base to his natural. Really, Argos Zenith not having that strong of an economy, so what he has is, and what he currently has is just a significant army advantage. His army advantage 2300 versus 1950. However, it is comprised of a lot more gas intensive units: roaches, Hydralisks, and infestors. Those infestors, if they're able to get a fungal growth off onto those roaches will have a very bad day, as a range of 3 is not enough to fire back, as those Hydralisks are able to start shooting at them. Back over here, we have one Zergling quickly falling to a Roach over here, so that Roach does have level 1 weapons upgrade. Back over here, Argos Zenith does not have any upgrades at all. Roaches sitting over here, so definite upgrades. But however, Sook now getting Banelings, and those Banelings are going to be able to destroy those Hydralisks if he's not careful. However, Roaches, this is what we're talking about. Fungal growth on these units here. This Queen, however, needs to get quickly burrowing. If another fungal growth is cast, those units, all of these roaches just taking so much damage. Hydralisk able to just fire back and fire freely at these targets and then take them down. So once again, Argos Zenith, brilliant roach play so far, or sorry, infestor play so far, taking down the swarm of Zerg units. First a large group of Mutalisks, and now a group of roaches. So once again, we're gonna have Sook being forced to just try to sit within his base. We do have a number of Banelings now being produced, and those Banelings will need to be used in order to try to take down those Hydralisks. I believe it takes 3 Banelings to destroy a group of Hydralisks if they're all really tightly packed together. However, we may need to see some sort of burrow roach blow. Oh, Argos Zenith burrowing another Queen over here. Very beautifully done. We should see some overseers. I do not know why an overseer has yet to be produced. overseers from both sides in order to stop the burrow play, and also stop these banelings do not have burrow. Never mind, I thought Sook did have burrow. Back over here, we do have Sook now running off of 3 bases, and this base just a skeleton crew with a couple drones on gas and on minerals over here. But 3 hatcheries versus 2 outmove an army of infestors. So these infestors now going to be able to move in, and without any overseers, that is a very, very bad sight indeed. And he was not keeping track of those units. Can I see the roaches? No, you cannot see roaches moving on creep, even though it's burrowed. So you cannot see a roach there. So these roaches just continuing to scamper around these roaches. Infestors moving at a decent movement speed of 2.6. So faster than even, say, a marine or a marauder when it's not stim. So now moving up onto this creep, onto this high ground, and these infestors will be able to spawn infested Terran into this base and then take down all of these drones, and that will really, really cause a lot of problems here. So mass infested Terran here, and they're hatching. Now going to go ahead and shoot down this hatchery. Hatchery just going to get destroyed in a matter of seconds here. And now those roaches trying to save this base over here. Will it be able to save it in time? Does not look like it. Banelings sacrificing themselves, but not much is going to happen. And now Argos Zenith having a significant advantage with these great infestor play. Argos Zenith, I really like his infestor play as more infestors joining in on this fight. Currently sitting on 10 infestors, and he still has a lot of gas to use. Hydralisks and roaches once again joining that army. Infestors now moving out. Will they be able to do anything? I do not see any sort of overseer currently in production, and I do not see any overseers in the base anywhere. So once again, these infestors are going to be able to come into here and perhaps take down key tech, the spire, the spawning pool, the roach. As soon as those the roach warren, as soon as these buildings are taken down, that is just going to be the end of it. So now let's see how much energy is on those infested Terran. A decent amount. So those infested Terran will be spawning out in just a moment. Back over here, we see an army of roaches. There is one overseer, but it is out of position here, still waiting for these infested Terran to do something. There is one queen sitting over here, just acting as a creep tumor, trying to gain sight, and still no infested Terrans have been spawned just quite yet. Perhaps Argos Zenith is waiting for that energy. Back over here, Overseer keeping track of this army, making sure that those banelings and those roaches are not going to get any hidden surprises. However, mass infested Terran into the main base, and here we go. Main key buildings are going to get taken down. Baneling nest, spire, spawning pool, roach warren. As soon as that's taken down, that's going to be very end of the day. Roaches taking that front line. Banelings unable to do anything. Fungal growth on the back, and these roaches and hydralisks continuing to fire back and forth, and beautifully done by Argos Zenith. I think Argos had a much stronger advantage throughout this whole entire game, even though he didn't try to capitalize on it. It took him quite some time to try to get this hatchery up and running, but he was constantly spending using a lot of larvae on Zerglings to cause a lot of harassment into the base of Sook. And by that time, he was able, and by the middle of the game, it could have been still anyone's game, as Sook was able to get this high ground expansion and this expansion fairly well saturated. However, Argos Zenith using infested Terrans and using infestors, able to take out this base so easily is by spawning, I believe, like somewhere between 15 and 20 infested Terrans, taking down that hatchery. Now in this base, you can see Argos Zenith having, let's see how many infested Terran, 24 plus 6, 30 infested Terran in this base, quickly taking down the spawning pool. Already took down the spire. There is still, already took down the baneling nest and the spire. The spawning pool is already half life, and now the roach warren. So really, Sook knew that even though he was still going to be able to run off of one base, his tech buildings would have been easily destroyed. Also, the real game changer was the amount of fungal growths that Argos Zenith was able to pull off. Fungal growth on a group of roaches, and then having the Hydralisk finish them off. Hydralisk with that very fast attack rate, able to deal 13 damage per attack, was simply destroying these roaches. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Argos Zenith and Sook here on Steps of War.